Hey, is it recording?
Is this thing on?
Oh, wait. Hey, I think it's recording, Alexander. Go.
Hey guys, welcome to Open House 2021, where we thought that we would all be together, but
We're
We're doing
bummed about
this.
that. Sorry.
so
We were
anyway.
gonna have cookies and stuff.
yeah, no, we would never. Anyway, so I am Christy Alexander. I have been at E since 2004. So I've been teaching American Studies for a while. I feel very fortunate to be back teaching American Studies again with my partner, Dr. Joe Russell. We actually have 4 sections of American Studies this year. Joe and I do 3 of them, and then our teammates, Harrison and Janessa, have a morning session as well. But we work really hard to make sure that we are all on the same page, and as much as possible, we like for the kids to know all of us and to feel comfortable with all of us, working with any one of us. So we'll share tutorials. We all get together, we plan our curriculum together, we create assessments together, and then after we give any kind of an assignment, we're constantly talking about how we're all grading this so that everybody's on the same page at all times. Also wanted to talk for a minute just about the fact that we recognize that this is kind of a weird year. We've had a series of weird years. It's been just like one weird thing after another. So, and I know that we thought that we would be back to normal, but I think the reality of that is that it's going to take a lot longer than just a summer to get back to what school actually feels like. So we want you guys to know that we are working our way back slowly into normal, and that we are trying to work with kids to figure out what that even looks like anymore. So please let us know if you have any questions or concerns about that, because we know that some of our kids are struggling to get back into that routine and to figure out how to school again. So in terms of American Studies, one other thing I want to mention is that we are double blocked. So we see your kids for 2 hours every single day. So first and second period, or third or fourth. So we spend a lot of time with them, and we love that opportunity, having that opportunity. The other thing really quickly though, before we move on, there's only one grade book. Even though it's 2 classes, there's only one grade book. And so don't think that the other teacher is a slacker. It's just that it's too easy or it's too hard to coordinate those 2 grade books and keep them in sync all the time. So we'll just be putting grades into one grade book. At the end of every 9 weeks, your child's grade will be reflected in both of them, but not until we get to that point. So there we go. Harrison.
My name's Harrison South. You might recognize the name David South because that's what is my first name, and I go by my middle name. So sorry for that complication, but been dealing with it my whole life. So it's my mom's fault. It was her decision. I've been teaching here at Plano East for 4 years. Been doing American Studies for 3 of them, and they're definitely my favorite 3. It's a wonderful course, and I'm personally very, very passionate about it. So I'm glad to be back again this year. Getting back to kind of the nitty-gritty of school, it is important to remember that this class, although we blend it as much as possible, as Christy was saying, it is 2 separate AP courses. And so you do need to, everything that you do in our class, a lot of it feels like one single unit. But as far as College Board is concerned, we are AP Language and Composition, as well as AP US History. And so everything for College Board you do twice, right? You sign up for AP Lang and you sign up for US History. So that is a little bit confusing at first, but the kids get used to it. For our textbook, for the history side of things, our content, we use Eric Foner's Give Me Liberty. It's a good textbook. It's got a lot of story and narrative with it, which I think the kids like and pick up on. We understand that this has been, we are getting back into the swing of things. Last year, we really tried to, with the craziness of the year, we tried to pare the textbook down. And so we give recommended readings. We try to be realistic about expectations for the students, and we know that they might not have hours every week to dedicate to textbook reading for our class. And so a typical textbook chapter might be 45 pages. We pare it down to 30 or 25. And Dr. Russell has been taking those pared down readings and generating new reading study guides that are very useful for the students practicing skills that will be talked about later. And so that is it's a good resource that kind of informs a lot of the historical content that your students are expected to interact with in some way. But we've just been trying to provide these more accessible resources and structures for them to get the information they need, but not be bogged down in too much with textbook reading. So.
I'm Janessa Bauer. This is my third year teaching at East and also my third year teaching American Studies. Before I taught elementary, which was its own adventure, and I taught college undergrads for a year, which was a different kind of adventure, but I'm happy to be here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of the purpose of our course. We are intended to be the extension of the humanities courses that many of your children took in 9th and 10th grades. So we're intended to be this GT extension. So because of that, we focus a lot on curiosity and unanswered questions and engaging with the unknown, which does frustrate some students, but it's really good for them and they really will dig in with us and believe in what we're doing. And it really helps them to see history and language from a different perspective and from a really important perspective. And so one way we do that is we look at uncovering the humanity behind the history. And we look at who lived and who died and then who gets to tell that story and how they tell the story. We often use the voices of the people who lived those stories. And another aspect of that is that we do a lot of project-based learning. We believe that choice and autonomy are essential for students because then they will buy in with us and then we can build their critical thinking and their creativity through a lot of projects and a lot of group work and collaboration. We also do SSR, which is self-selected reading, and hence the name. Research shows that if students choose the reading, they will actually read the book. And so we really strongly believe that it's an important part of what we do to get them reading and engaged with that. And so, like we've been saying, we do teach the course together, and we also focus a little bit separately on A-Push and AP Lang to make sure the students feel ready for the exams. But one of the ways we teach them together is we'll use primary source documents, and we look at it from a historical perspective, and we look at the language that's used. So for instance, we are working on Declaration of Independence. So really the the English teachers kind of led that, where of course we understand the history of what's happening. Our history teachers have brought us up to that point. And then the language teachers, as Christy and I, we go through and we look at the purpose and the audience and the importance of the language that's used in that document. That really brings the history to life for the kids. And we use that, we've set the stage, and then we can synthesize our argument and nonfiction skills that are so important in AP language.
Awesome. Hey y'all, I'm Joe Russell. Taught here at East since the late Bronze Age, and I'm happy to be back here on campus after a 2-year hiatus in a central admin job. I'm happy to be back in the classroom with Alexander and working with Jay and Harrison. We believe very strongly in the American Studies approach to the way we teach history and English. I can't stress that enough, that our methodology works, and it's something we believe very strongly in, that it's research supported. The way Jay was saying, that when we blend history and English, it provides us this opportunity wherein our English skills reinforce our historical content, and we've just experience has taught us that this helps our kids be more successful on their AP exams when we do it. I don't know that I could go back to teaching history in any other way. Our approach really stresses critical thinking and good writing skills, which are just valuable life skills beyond our course, long after your kids have forgotten the details of whatever historical event that we're happen to be talking about. Hopefully those skills will be what transfers with them. Because of that, we are a little different than say a dual credit U.S. history or a standalone AP U.S. history class, which would be more sort of traditionally taught. I think for the kids at first, it can feel a little bit disorienting because it feels like, who are these two crazy people and why are they just kind of bouncing around the room and kind of talking over each other all the time. It does feel like that at first, I'm sure. But hopefully by now, they stopped complaining to you, like, I don't know what they're saying. And like, there's like, oh my God, they're so much fun. I still don't know what they're saying, but I'm getting there, right? So that's kind of our goal, is that we want to do that. Once the kids adapt to our methodology, we find it very, very effective. And I promise very research supported for the kids that the American Studies course is designed for, right? To make sure that they're supported as much as possible. Right, we do have a variety of resources. All your kids are, of course, assigned to a Google Classroom, and they have belonged to a particular Google Classroom for their respective section of the course, right? And everything that we do in class will be posted there, so they have access to that if they choose to use that. You'll also see on our faculty web pages, there is a link to our American Studies website. This is probably a little easier for parents to see. Google Classroom can be a little wonky with stuff like that sometimes, but you can see our American Studies website that we've created, where we've got tons of resources organized by our units and that are aligned with our essential questions for our course, which are derived from the standards. We have a lot of standards we have to, as two classes, with state standards and AP standards, we've got a lot of different obligations that we have to meet. So we want to make sure that we've covered that, right? To make sure that the kids are, this constant gentle reinforcement that we are we are a double AP class, right? The only double AP class in the schedule or in their course of studies, right? That we use the AP classroom resources from the College Board as well. So they're always, kind of gently reminded what those AP style questions will look like, and we can kind of do that stuff. So there's a lot of great electronic resources that can kind of help the kids be successful. Harrison mentioned our textbook. It is quite a tome. Hopefully that's kids like the reassurance of that textbook. We also make sure that the PDF versions of the chapters of each of those are posted on our Google Classroom as well. So we try to meet them wherever they are, in terms of if they're more digital or analog or whatever.
Okay, so I think that just about does it. Our kids will be registering for those AP tests soon. We don't have an exact date on that, so be looking for that. And if you've made it this far, we really appreciate you. If you have any other questions at all, then please feel free to reach out. Our contact information, again, is on the Plano East website underneath the faculty web pages. And just at any point, if you have anything, any questions or anything that's kind of bugging you or anything you want to let us know about your kid that will help us support them better to make sure that you're keeping us in the loop. So thank you very much, and y'all have a good night. Bye.